I love diver watches, as I'm sure you do too, for many reasons, and most importantly, they look awesome. The luminosity is great. They've got the unidirectional bezels. They are just fun watches, and you can actually take them swimming because they're usually water resistant, 200 meters water resistant, 300 meters, and so on. So today I want to be sharing with you 7 of my favorite blue diver watches. Now, just a little point here. You can actually pick up these watches in not blue, like in green or gray or other colors. But I picked them as blue, I ordered them in, and I reviewed them. So they are the blue diver watches that I have, and I thoroughly enjoy them. So these watches cost anywhere from 35 to 90 bucks. So very solid budget range. So now, without any further ado, let's dive in and talk about these 7 blue diver watches. And the links to the listings will be in the description below the video. Let's do it. Let's start off with number 1, the Steeldive SD1970. This turtle style timepiece is almost iconic for AliExpress. 200 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal, 120 click unidirectional bezel, a signed screw and crown, and a screw down case back. It's offered in 3 colors, this blue, green, and black. The dimensions on this watch are really good, and this sort of warrants the thousands and thousands of sales that were made of this watch on AliExpress. In regards to the dimensions, we get a case width of 43.5 millimeters, a height of 13.4 millimeters, a lug-to-lug length of 48 millimeters, a lug width of 20 millimeters, and a weight of 180 grams, without removing any of the links to fit my 6.5-inch wrist. The polished flanks are folding under the case, and that looks seamless. The lug hoods are radially brushed, fine strokes for a clean and refined look. The coinage of the unidirectional bezel is convenient to grip, minimal backplay, and heavy resistance. These feel precise and secure. The blue hue is on the bezel, the slanting rehaut, as well as the sunburst dial. Notice the date window at 3 o'clock. This really expands the use cases for the watch. As for the luminosity, performance in terms of brightness and longevity is up there. Additionally, the pattern of loomed elements on the dial and bezel are stunning. The chili blue on the outer ring with the warm green glow on the dial. Powered by an automatic NH35 featuring 24 joules, 21,600 beats per hour for $65, this is a bargain. For number 2, we have another Seiko Homage, inspired by Seiko's Save the Ocean thematics. This Tandorio provides lean and manageable dimensions, with a diameter of 38 mm, a lug-to-lug length of 42.6 mm, a height of 12.8, and a lug width of 20 mm. The weight on this rubber strap is 90 grams. The watch is powered by a self-winding automatic movement, the NH35, offering 42 hours of power reserve. The slab of sapphire crystal is in line with a ceramic bezel insert. At 4 o'clock, there is a larger than average guarded screw and crown. On the back, we have a screw-down case back. Looking at the profile, we see a polished convex flank, gently rounded like a pebble on the seashore. Notice how short the lugs are, offering convenience for practically any wrist circumference. Although the dial is the visual magnet on this watch, a pleasingly deep blue hue with a horizontal brushed effect, signaling for a water surface effect. And also see the silhouettes of the seagulls flying east from 8 to 4 o'clock. The meaty battens on the dial don't make the dial feel crowded. I think the deep rehaut creates a bit of that open and visual space that we need on this rather small dial. I like that we also have a date window at 3 o'clock, in essence making this diver an easy life choice for stylish everyday wearing. For $60, it's a value-packed gem. This is a Panny Boy Homage. The PD1767 is more assertive and sporty rather than the elegant pieces we've had before. The wide stance of the squarish case design with the U-shaped midsection, prominent and bold, the side flank is inscripted with the brand name, and the result is very interesting indeed. The 120 click unidirectional steel bezel is decorated with 9 embossed steel pips and 3 loomed pips. The diver-styled circular hour indices are an interesting look on a square frame within a circular dial. Notice the small seconds dial at 9 o'clock, once more making this piece much more thrilling than the usual look. although my favorite feature is the power reserve dial at 3 o'clock. The watch offers sapphire crystal, 200 meters of water resistance by way of a screw-in crown and a screw-down exhibition case back. The exhibition back looks breathtaking due to a decorated and open-looking rotor. The canvas strap is 22 millimeters wide and meaty. The signed pin buckle finish complements the brushed surfaces of the case. For $55, in my humble opinion, this piece is a bargain. The Seestern Sub 600T, and it does look breathtaking. The diver watch aesthetics are the next level. The Sub 600T actually homages the Doxa watch, and it does so relatively well. It's a good design. Obviously, we all know it because Doxa came up with it, but still, Seestern does a fair job at giving us the premium components, great quality and very good refinement for a price that's at least 10 times cheaper than the original. It's not the original. The movement is much more simple. This is just the basic automatic Seiko NH35 power ring on this watch, but still we do get a flavor of this great watch. We get a fully stainless steel construction with a flat slab of sapphire crystal on top of it all. Powered by a self-winding automatic from Seiko, the NH35, considering tight dimensions of just 40 millimeters in diameter, there is a lot of information provided to the wearer. The bezel gets 2 rows of values, while the dial features a distinct minute rack and loomed hour indices. The case is mostly brushed, yet the array of angles and facets make light play very enticing across the case. If I were to name 3 features that I like most on this watch, they would definitely be, well, firstly, a superbly designed and sophisticated screw-in crown. The rotation convenience is awesome. The starfish on the tip is a sign of a distinguished watch micro-brand on AliExpress. For number 2, the bright blue lume is chilly and long-lasting, just what we need on a real diver watch. For number 3, the strap is an absolute gem on here. A 3-link pattern with great fluidity and link articulation. The individual links are 3.5 millimeters thick. Usually they're about 2 to 2.5 millimeters. Here they're 3.5. There are no elements or indication of cost cutting on this bracelet. Even the clasp is signed with 6 micro adjustments, and the folding wing is of course milled. And of course there are plenty of color variations available with this timepiece. I want to tell you about this Terami stunner. So the code here is TRM6801. I think this is the perfect competitor watch to the Turquoise Steeldive SD1953 because I do have a soft spot for the Steeldive SD1953. I think it's a great all-rounder, but this one is priced just as well, but features slightly more premium components as well as the refinement looks better. Let me tell you about it. So this Terami does feature sapphire crystal with a very clear and more balanced magnification of the sapphire Cyclops. It gets a self-winding automatic movement, the Seiko NH35. We also get 300 meters of water resistance, just like on the SD1953. The 120 click unidirectional bezel is very precise, although if we talk about the sound, well, the SD1953 is probably a bit more, well, it's just a little bit better, I would say. Although if we talk about the actual experience and the rotation cycle, they're about the same. The lume is absolutely superb on this watch, yet there are 2 features which destroy the SD1953. But before we get into them, let's mention the dimensions. We get a diameter of 40 millimeters, a lug-to-lug length of 53 millimeters, a height of 12.5 without the Cyclops, 13.8 millimeters with the Cyclops. The lug width is 20 millimeters and 16 millimeters at the clasp. The weight is 170 grams. But if we go back to those 2 features, which make this a more attractive buy than the Turquoise Steeldive SD1953. Well, firstly, the blue of the dial is less loud. The Turquoise is more sky blue. Also, it fades to the black at the rehaut. This gradual radiance coupled with the sunburst effect looks amazing and very expensive. For number 2, the bracelet as a whole is better. It gets screw pins, not push pins. The tolerances are very high. But the ultimate win lies in the milled clasp, which offers fly adjustments. For $65, this is an amazing, stunning piece. First up is the Addiesdive AD2054, and it is a thought follower from the MYH3, a $35 bombshell following a Sub-inspired look with a typical wide stance, brushed surfaces mixed in with the polished tall flanks. For $35 we get a 3-link brushed 316L stainless steel bracelet. The case is also solid stainless steel. Considering a screw-in crown and the screw-down case back, the timepiece features 200 meters of water resistance. The crystal is mineral glass with a mineral glass cyclops over the date window at 3 o'clock. The magnification is about ×2, not the standard setting 2.5 times. But the mineral crystal is actually coated with blue anti-reflective film. With regards to the dimensions, we get a diameter of 40.8 millimeters, a lug-to-lug length of 53.1 millimeters due to the protruding male end links. We get a height of 13 millimeters without the cyclops, 14.5 with it. We get a lug width of 20 millimeters, tapering down to 18 millimeters at the clasp, and a weight of 165 grams. Once again, $35 for this piece is unbelievable value. This is an Addiesdive, hence luminosity is usually better than on the renders, and powered by a Quartz, specifically the Miyota 2115. The bracelet is held by push pins. Tolerances are decent, not San Martin quality, but then it does cost at least 5 times cheaper than any San Martin. Link articulation and fluidity aren't compromised, so really good here. The double pusher clasp gets 3 micro adjustments and a pressed wing. Following the gaze down the inverted and deep reho, we face a matte blue dial, perfectly matching the matte blue of the ceramic bezel insert. The beige indices provide plenty of contrast. I love the simplicity and well-balanced dial. With regards to the lume, it really doesn't match the super low price. Bright green light lasts for hours, so easily for the full night. Bezel action is muted, but surprisingly quite accurate with minimal backplay. So here we meet the Cadisen C8206, a versatile 38mm timepiece inspired by the vintage Tudors and Rolexes of this world, as seen by the hands and the bracelet pins. At $55, this is quite a bargain for such a looker. The squarish stance is another giveaway to the watches Cadisen is paying tribute to. This is a fully stainless steel construction. There are 4 dial colors available. This sky blue, then we get a deep night sky blue, black and ivory white. Also you can opt for the bracelet with a signed double pusher clasp, 3 micro adjustments and a milled folded wing, or a silicone rubber strap. Personally, the sky blue got my vote because the bezel markings are also in the same blue. As a result, the watch looks much more fun and carries more of a summer vibe with it. Considering the nimble dimensions, it's a piece for any wrist size. In fact, the color variations point to an unisex design. So with regards to the dimensions, we get a diameter of 38 millimeters, a lug-to-lug length of 46 millimeters, a height of 12.4, and a lug width of 20 millimeters. The weight without removing any links is 140 grams. The 120-click unidirectional bezel sits tall here. The coin edge has a wide threading effect, great for grip and control. The bezel action is stupendously good for just $55. Consistent resistance, minimal backplay, and a distinct ratchet during the rotation cycle. We get a loomed pip on the bezel and loomed dial elements. Powered also by the NH35, a self-winding automatic. It features sapphire crystal, a screw-in crown, and a screw-down case back, warranting 200 meters of water resistance. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. As I did mention earlier, now these watches are blue, but you can get them in other colors, of course, as well. Green, gray, whatever you fancy, and whatever the listings do offer. But I just find the blue really quite exciting. Anyways, the links to all of the listings we've discussed today will be in the description below the video, so do check them out if you're after some sharp prices. Now, these are affiliate links, meaning that if you do make a qualified purchase, I will be getting some kickback from AliExpress. It won't cost you anything, but it helps me get some commission in so I can buy more blue diver watches in from AliExpress and review them for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.